Good morning. Today we're doing another unboxing video. I have here the Cyberpunk Edgerunners Comabt Zone box. It's a fairly large box, doesn't quite fit in the camera frame here using my stand. This is a miniature skirmish game based on the Cyberpunk RPG. Specifically, this set has characters and scenarios based on the Edgerunners anime that came out a couple years back by Studio Trigger. I love the anime. I love miniature skirmish games. I'm excited to see what this looks like. Let's get it open. Okay, we have an advertisement here for Cyberpunk Red Comabt Zone. So that's the miniature skirmish game based on the Cyberpunk Red edition of the tabletop RPG. A bunch of miniatures for that. We've got a little, looks like random table to determine the background of your characters in the game. Got to read this first thing that goes over the setting, talking about, let's see, all of the different components, the rule book, just like a little brief blurb about the setting. And so this game, this particular box uses 2D acrylic standees instead of three-dimensional miniatures, and there's just a little assembly guide for that. You can see the character Atom Smasher being slotted into his base here. And we just got a listing of the components. Rulebook, dice, rulers, a game board. Looks like it has sort of the MDF socket-in terrain. We got some acrylic standees listed out, some cards, some tokens, and an assembly guide for all the terrain. Here's a scenario book. Just a little brief guide for running campaigns and one-off games, cleaning up after them. Looks like it has a system for carrying over injuries and maybe equipment and maybe experience to the next game. Sort of a carryover thing like you might do from wartime. And yeah, it's pretty much what you would expect. A bunch of different listings of setups, some terrain maps, and the effects on the campaign for the winner and loser. And then there's a little table here. Gives you a summary of the game and things that you can do on your turn. The main rulebook, and this one's a little bit thicker than the rest. This goes over all the nitty-gritty of how to move, how to deal with line of sight, how to make attacks, armor, and a little glossary in the back. I'll have to get into this later. The two rulers. Oh, that's interesting. I assumed the terrain was going to be MDF, but it looks like it's very thick cardboard. Feels kind of like the thickness of cardboard that Games Workshop has used for, say, the tiles in Space Hulk or Warhammer Quest. So we got a few sheets for building out these city ruins here. We've got a sheet of tokens. And we've got the board itself, which is pretty sturdy. It's cardboard just as thick as that they use for the terrain. And it's double-sided. One of them is a little bit dustier, the other one is a little bit more city-ish. Got a couple packs of small cards. Look like equipment. And maybe some software for a netrunner to use in the game. These look like the character cards. Looks like probably two decks. I'm going to guess one of them is for the Edgerunners gang, the other for the Arasaka Corporation. A set of dice. And a bunch of acrylic standees. You can see here, the artwork they use for these is based on the 3D renders that I believe they sculpted the miniatures from. Yeah. But the designs are fairly close to the ones that you see in the anime. And they have stands for every one of them. Got some extra Ziploc bags for getting all the tokens together. And we've got some plastic stands, which I think are probably meant to go with the terrain. Keep all those walls standing during a game. Yeah, that looks like everything. Alright, thanks for watching.